Oh, now, this is a story all about how local soccer media got flipped, turned upside down. And we like to take a minute, so grab a beer so cold, and we'll tell you how we became electric gold. In White House, Tennessee, born and raised on the soccer fields was where we spent most of our days. Reading Mad Magazine and riding our bikes with a known propensity for rocking the mic. Now we're a trio of guys who are getting kinda old, cheering on the boys and goal with every bit of our soul. Screaming our heads off while drinking some beers, hoping to give Cincy and Miami something to fear. Now Evan, John and Ryan are kicking the facts about Nashville SC, and they'll never come whack. If anything, we can say the show is rare. Acoustic blue and electric gold, the only colors we wear. We pull up the goaties about 7:38, and we yell to the refs, yo home, smell you later. We look at the castle, we feeling so bold. We sit on our thrones, we're electric gold.
Guys, there was a classic episode of Seinfeld where Jerry noticed that George was way up, or he was way down, or Elaine was way up, or she was way down. But no matter what, with Jerry, everything always evened out in the end. He was even Steven. Something good would happen to him, something bad would happen to him. He always evened out. And for NSC this week, everything evened out. It was even Steven, draws all around. How about it? You feeling all right tonight? Looking back on this past week and the two draws that we had.
I'm feeling okay. Yeah.
So.
I'm feeling okay.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like a team that tied a game. Like, it's okay. I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah, I feel good.
Such ringing endorsements there. We definitely had a tie that felt like a win and a tie that felt like a loss. Yeah, absolutely.
Precisely.
Well, before we dig into too much of that stuff, let's talk about what's really important. Guys, tell me what beers you're drinking tonight. John, what are you having?
Yeah, I am having a Walkabout Sour Ale with pineapple, and this is made by the Fat Orange Cat Brewing Company in New Haven, Connecticut. The weirdest thing about this whole beer, I do research on these things. There is almost no information about the Fat Orange Cat Brewing Company. And for a brewing company with such a cool name, I was expecting stories galore, but nothing. It's like a ghost town. And I don't know what's going on with them, but they make a sour pineapple beer, and it tastes a lot like pineapple juice, like a daiquiri almost.
Ooh.
It's really good. It doesn't taste like a beer, but it's delicious. It's a good summer drink when it's 87 degrees outside like it was today. So
yeah, it's hot as balls outside. So
yeah, I liked it.
It's good and refreshing. That sounds great. Evan, what are you having tonight?
Well, boys, it's great to be with you, of course. And tonight I am enjoying a hazy little thing, IPA from Sierra Nevada. It combines Citra, El Dorado, and other juicy hops with oat, wheat, and other silky malts for a fruity taste with, I'm going to be honest with you, quite a lot of bitterness. It might almost be a little bit too bitter for my liking. It's a good beer, maybe not my favorite. Let me tell you, it'll give your tongue a pretty good working over.
Wonderful. Wow.
That's what she said.
Exactly. Well, fellas, in honor of two ties this week, I'm having the most mid sort of beer that I could possibly get down me. This is from a little specialty brewery up in Boston, Massachusetts. You might have heard of. It's called Samuel Adams. And apparently it's named after a forefather of the country, I guess. And this is their American Light beer. If you wanted a beer that is basically like Bud Light, but you want to drink something that you won't be ashamed of, I guess this is probably your choice. It's a American Light beer. What do you want? To quote Biff from Back to the Future, McFly, I come over to your house and all you got for me is light beer. You know? How insulting.
McFly! A little bit more.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Thank you. So I'm just having the most regular beer that I could find. It's American Light by Sam Adams. Guys, I'm Ryan. That's John. That's Evan. This is Electric Gold. Proud to be drinking here tonight with you guys. Cheers.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, boys.
Okay, let's get started with a little bit of week in review. Boys in Gold closed an incredibly busy May schedule with 2 more games this week. First at Columbus on Wednesday evening, and then hosting New York City FC this past Saturday at Geodis Park. For the Columbus game, Coach Callahan opted to start Ahmed Qasim in place of Jacob Schaffelberg and Johnny Perez in place of Alex Muil. Otherwise, the starting lineup was the standard group, and it didn't take long for Nashville to make its mark. Barely 90 seconds into the game, the team set up an offensive attack that culminated with a Patrick Yazbek lob from the right side to a waiting Sam Surridge, who struck from the left post to give Nashville the early 1-0 lead. But after that score, it was a sluggish effort from Nashville. The team struggled to keep possession for the rest of the first half and frequently were turning the ball over and forced to make an incredible play after play on defense in order to protect their lead. Despite all the momentum being on the Columbus side, Nashville entered the half with the 1-score advantage. Columbus's relentless attack continued to open the second half, and then in the 69th minute, they finally were rewarded for their efforts. After Joe Willis deflected a long-range shot from Steven Barrera, Diego Rossi continued his MVP caliber season by sending the return back into the goal with 1 touch while Willis was still on the ground. Nashville had a response ready, however. After earning a throw-in deep on the left side of Columbus's half, Surridge quickly tossed the ball in play before all players could properly set up. Schaffelberg, freshly subbed into the game for Perez, took a shot that was deflected by Columbus keeper Nicholas Hagen, but waiting for the counter was none other than Hani Mukhtar, who tapped in the ball to give Nashville the lead once more. The intensity continued to mount in the game that had every bit of a playoff atmosphere. The offensive pressure from Columbus resumed, and in the 81st minute, Columbus defender Malte Amundsen took a shot from the left side that Jason Palacios was able to get a foot on. Unfortunately for Palacios and for Nashville, the deflection was not strong enough and ended up banging off the right post and into the net for an own goal, tying the game at 2-2. The 2 evenly matched teams finished the game with a draw. It was a hard-fought game and a well-earned point on the road versus an Eastern Conference rival for a weary Nashville team. To wrap up May, NSC returned home and hosted NYC FC this past Saturday for a rare day game at Geodis Park. Notably, Walker Zimmerman earned his first start since early April where he suffered a concussion and missed many games afterwards. Also starting for Nashville in the midfield was Matthew Corcoran, the 19-year-old U.S. Youth International who has recently impressed in Open Cup games. And once again, Qasim started on the right wing while Jacob Schaffelberg came off the bench. Sam Surridge has been on a massive hot streak in May, and that continued in this game. In the 27th minute, Hani Mukhtar was served an incredible lob from Corcoran into the NYC box, and then deftly tapped the ball behind him with his back heel where Surridge was waiting with an incredible strike to give the team its first goal. In the 41st minute, Surridge was at it again, and so was Corcoran, who once again played the ball from the midfield to a Nashville attacker, this time Alex Muil. The ball was played perfectly at Muil's stride, and he turned and found Surridge on the right side of the box. Surridge played the ball through traffic to earn a brace and a 2-0 lead for the home team. Unfortunately, the second half was less fruitful for Nashville. In the 54th minute, Hans Wolf put a weak shot past Joe Willis to get back 1 goal. There was a bit of controversy later in the half when Surridge took a shot that rebounded off the right post straight to Hani Mukhtar, who lasered in a shot that NYC goalie Matt Freese blocked. Or did he? While no VAR was conducted, subsequent replays seemed to show that the shot cleared the goal line and the block happened inside the goal. Nonetheless, play continued with Nashville nursing the slim 2-1 lead. That controversy would prove to be impactful, as a late corner kick for NYC resulted in another dribbler of a shot making it past Joe Willis and pulling New York back even with Nashville. Despite controlling momentum and holding the lead for most of the game, the Boys in Gold were forced to conclude their frenetic month with a draw at home. All told, it was a successful May for the team. Nashville earned 3 wins and 4 draws in league play, while also winning twice in U.S. Open Cup play, moving them into the quarterfinals of that tournament. The Boys in Gold have earned a much-deserved week off before suiting up again in 2 weeks against Chicago FC at Soldier Field. Nashville's tied with Miami for 3rd place in the East with a record of 8 wins, 4 losses, and 5 draws, and a goal differential of +9. It's a crowded field vying for playoff positions in the Eastern Conference with just 3 points separating 2nd to 7th place. So the rest of the season should be an interesting one to say the least. And don't look now, But Sam Surridge sits in second place in the Golden Boot race, and Hany Mukhtar has put himself in MVP conversation once again as he is among the league leaders in total goal contributions and leads the league in shots on target, and he's fourth in expected goals. So, fellas, certainly a lot of great things this week, maybe some things that weren't so great, but what did we learn about Nashville SC this week? Evan, we will start with you.
Well, boys, here's what we learned. This is a good, solid, deep team. We historically make a good run in the late spring. This was as good as ever. Probably the best month in club history. Yeah, like you said, the tie in Columbus, that felt like a win. Losing a 2-goal lead on Saturday was certainly discouraging, but it's hard to argue with the 10-game unbeaten run and a spot in the Open Cup quarterfinals. Again, we learned that NSC, season in and season out, is going to be great about this time of year. The real question is, can Nashville 2.0 keep that momentum going?
Yeah.
That we will find out as we continue on. John, what did you learn this past week?
I would say the main thing that I learned this past week is that exhaustion is a bigger factor in soccer than we probably think about it. I've seen some criticism of the subs that Callahan made there against New York City. And of course, we can get into that, but I really think a lot of it is just these guys are exhausted. 9 games in 30 days is crazy.
It's a lot.
And MLS teams are not really built to have like this kind of depth. Like if you see Champions League teams, they rotate when they're playing in the middle of the week, but they can afford to have, 2 teams of world-class all-stars. We're having to make do with youth in the middle of the week sometimes. Obviously, those guys have come through for us, which is amazing. But if you look around the league this weekend, there were some crazy results. What was it? Cincinnati lost at home to DC United.
Right.
Orlando lost at home to Chicago. Columbus got blown out by Miami. I think it's really, you're going to have these kind of results in MLS when there's so many midweek games happening. You're just going to have to rotate, and you're going to have to go with guys that you don't trust all the way. And there's just going to be crazy shit that happens sometimes. Do I wish we had won Saturday? Hell yeah, I wish I would have won Saturday. But BJ knows when his guys are pooped, and he had to rest them when he could. So we'll keep rolling on. And I do think we could take from it this month that we learned, yeah, just like Evan said, the depth is there. If we have to rest, because June is going to be a slim month, but July is going to be rough again. We're going to have to keep relying on this depth, and I feel confident about it going forward.
Yeah, I think some people forget that these guys are running 4, 5, 6, 7 miles in a game. If you're Eddie Tagseth, you're running maybe a half marathon in a given game, and they start 2 games a week for 4 weeks. That wears you the hell out. I've run a few half marathons in my day back a long time ago.
Yeah.
Back when I was much fitter than I am now. And that alone put me down for like a couple of weeks,
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
These guys are just doing it over and over again. Good Lord, give them a break. And I think you're right. I think that probably the biggest factor in not being able to hold these leads these past 2 games was probably fatigue. But there are other issues as well. We will probably get to those too.
There's issues.
I'm going to tell you what, guys, this past weekend was so much fun, though, getting to attend the game. It's been a while since I've been to a game at Geota. It's been several weeks. Getting to be there with you guys and celebrate and scream our full heads off. I don't know about you. I was hoarse like all Sunday, like it just it's just dragging. But what a fun time it was. It was great weather. It was just a great environment to be in. But I'd love to hear from you guys. What was your favorite thing about this past week? Let's do hell yeah. John, what was your hell yeah moment for the week?
You're thinking along the same lines as me, buddy. Saturday, the last few minutes are not ideal, but I have to just go with the whole day. It was a beautiful day in Nashville. Being out there at the park, oh my God, I love day games. Please, Apple, please, Nashville SC, please schedule more home games next year.
Day games, yeah.
Day games, sorry, yeah. Day games. Because, oh my God, everybody was in a good mood. The tailgate was popping.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God our brothers and sisters in La Brigada de Oro were able to come and join us.
Yes.
There was just a beautiful moment when we first got to there, the tribute to Ben Coward, an assembly member and NSC legend who unfortunately passed away 2 years ago. Just overall, there was just a lot of emotions, and it was a beautiful day. And the whole day I was like, oh, hell yeah, it doesn't get any better than this, baby. I wish we would have won, but overall, man, what a great day. Loved it.
Yeah, fantastic. And Evan, how about you? Did you have an all hell yeah moment from this past week?
I did, man. I did. And I echo everything you said there, John. It was such a great day. We tailgated in lot 5. We tailgated in lot 8 with the captain.
Yep.
All over.
We tailgated everywhere. The weather was beautiful. The game was great. Afterwards, I went down to 12 South to celebrate my niece's 4th birthday with my brother there.
Sweet.
Ate at Edley's. I mean, walked the strip. Just a great day. But guys, meeting Raymond
Yes.
at the tailgate
Yeah.
was my all hell yeah moment of the week, because he was such a cool dude. He was so gracious to us. He had the nicest things to say, and it felt wonderful. So
Yeah.
when Raymond found us in our new shirts, thank you, Ryan, very much.
bet.
I love my new shirt. When he found us in our new shirts and said hello and talked to him a little bit, I was just like, oh, hell yeah, this is why we do it, baby.
Yeah.
Yes. Amen to that.
I concur. This was probably my favorite moment as well. What we're talking about is we were wearing some shirts that we made up that have electric gold on the back. And one of the listeners of the podcast, Raymond, came up to us and was like, hey, are you guys electric gold? And started talking to us, telling us he really enjoyed listening. And man, it just meant the world to all of us. We were so thankful for all of our listeners and getting to meet one in person and just hear about how he's enjoyed listening to us over the past year has been really rewarding for us. So that was definitely my all hell yeah moment as well. And just want to give him another big shout out and appreciate him coming up, and want to welcome anybody who's a listener that wants to come up to us during the tailgating or whatever. Feel free, more than happy to meet anybody. And honestly, it means a lot to us, and it's rewarding for us to actually meet people who are enjoying what we're doing. So
The best.
big all hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hear, hear.
On the flip side, there's plenty to talk about here. Again, I want to continue to stay positive. This team has been rolling, and it's hard to complain about a team who didn't lose once in May and who hasn't lost in like 9 or 10 games. I don't know. It's quite the streak we're on. So we're not going to complain too hard, but we do have some nitpicks, and that's why we do. Oh, hell no. All right, Evan. Oh, hell nah for you. What is it?
Maybe feels a little nitpicky. Trust me, after this month, I am definitely an NSC maniac. I love what they did. I am going to come back to a frequent complaint of mine, and that is Ahmed Qasim. I just don't think he is playing with the intensity necessary game in and game out. I think he's a little soft in challenges. I think he's putting too much faith in the refs to give him calls. He hasn't earned those calls by any stretch of the imagination. He's just being a little whiny, a little soft, and it's time for him to toughen up. He's going to have to toughen up, play harder, play with more intensity, and not expect to be given anything for this club in this league. Oh, hell no, buddy. You got to man up.
Wow.
Amen to that.
Scathing.
I remember at some point in the game, I leaned over to Ryan. I'm sure you couldn't hear me because it's loud over there, but I was like, boy needs to hit the weight room.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he was not fighting through those challenges at all.
Yeah.
It was disappointing. And especially when you see how better we got when Johnny Perez came in. And Johnny right away it was a big improvement.
We have had a similar complaint about Hani off and on the last couple of years, but you can tell he has really turned a new leaf on that. And look how much of a difference it has made in his game over the last month or two, whenever he just kind of seems like he kind of just stopped hoping that he was going to get those little soft calls, and he's not been going down as easily. And just look at what it has done for his game.
Sure, he used to dive like Greg Louganis. He's stopped all that, and it has really improved his game. But I think you're right. Acossum, I don't know what the deal is, but Hani has always given effort. That's never been a question. And when I look at how Acossum plays, his body language, his facial expressions, and just what he's doing on the field, I question the effort. And I hate to be like that with a professional athlete, because I'm sure he's working way harder than I probably ever would. But I don't see it. It's not being demonstrated to me. I have seen one conversation online that I'll bring up with you guys and get your opinions. People debating about who should be that starter. Is it Acossum? Is it Schaffelberg? Is it Perez? Of those three guys, if you had to pick one, who's the one? If we say that Alex Muyl is the de facto starter on the left, who is that winger that should be starting on the right? You guys have any opinion on that?
I do. I think, yes, it is tough. Me personally, right now, I would pick Johnny Perez as the starter.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's more consistently dangerous throughout the game. But really, between him and Schaffelberg, one of them needs to play 60 minutes and one of them needs to play 30, in my opinion. And the reason I picked Perez is Schaffelberg, with that speed of his, I think coming in against a tired defense might make more of a difference. He came in off the bench against Columbus, right? Yeah, because Perez started.
That's right.
Yeah. And then Schaffelberg got in and played a part in that second goal.
That's right.
And I don't know why he didn't come in the game Saturday. Of all the subs, that was actually the one that I questioned the most. I wasn't sure. I don't know if there's something behind the scenes. He was tired or slightly knocked or what. But I would have thought that his speed could have played a part against a tiring defense Saturday, but I don't know. But yeah, I would probably pick Perez personally and Kassem and Schaffelberg off the bench.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your opinion, Evan? Definitely not Acossum. Right.
Definitely not Acossum. No. And I would pick Perez too, based on, like John said, consistency of play and contribution over the last several weeks. Schaffelberg has a higher ceiling, I'm guessing, especially based on what we saw from him in late 23, early 24, whenever that was, when he was just probably the best player on the pitch a lot of times. But he's never really gotten back there. And Perez has really looked good each and every time he's taken the field. He's been a little unlucky, on some of his shots coming off the post and everything. Yeah. But man, he really is a difference maker. And so right now, based on recent play, I'd have to give the nod to Johnny Longsleeves.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Wow. That's impressive. I think you're right, though. I think he deserves it. I think he's been terrific. He's fun to watch. He's a lot of fun to watch. And he never wears short sleeves, no matter what the temperature is outside. So pretty impressive.
It's glorious. Yep.
All right, John, you have an all hell nah, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I have two all hell no's, but I'm going to stick with one for this one, and another one I'm going to come back later.
Okay.
My all hell no for this is the exact moment, and it's a continuation of my hot chicken take last week. MLS referees, what is going on? It's not even necessarily the referees in this case. It's the lack of VAR, and it's the exact same thing that was going on last week, and then it comes right back around and bites us in the ass Saturday. Why can't we get this right? Why, in America, why can't we have lines? It was happening right in front of us in the supporter section, that controversial play where Mukhtar hit the rebound in. And I, in my ignorance, said, if it had crossed the line, the referee would have gotten a little blip on his watch. I didn't even realize that we don't do that in MLS. Why don't we do that?
Right.
Everywhere in the world does that now. Everybody has the goal line technology. There's really only two reasons I can think of that we don't. One is MLS owners are cheapskates and don't want to pony up for whatever it costs to do this in all of our stadiums, which is horse shit. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
And the second is way more sinister. It's that you want plausible deniability for results to kind of go the way that you want them to go.
Interesting.
That's the only reason I can think of, because if they have it like in Latvia for a Champions League game, surely they can have it in MLS, this goal line technology. And if you don't have goal line technology, at least go to the VAR. I want to see the goddamn lines. You know that if you're watching the World Cup or something, they have the graphic and you can, or the Premier League, and you can see whether the ball crosses the line or not.
Yeah.
Even if it's a lie, I want to see that on the screen.
Yeah.
I want some kind of visual proof that some metrics is being used to look at it, because it's ridiculous. Right. This was solved 20 years ago. 2006 World Cup, Frank Lampard famously hit a shot that went behind the goal against Germany, and that was the trigger point of the whole goal line technology VAR movement. How haven't we figured it out in 20 years? Oh, hell no, MLS. Figure it out, man.
Agreed. Agree 100%. We should be able to draw straight lines in America. Is this further evidence of the crumbling infrastructure of America?
Are
we past our prime?
Let's lead to a bigger thing.
Or is it, like you said, is this a conspiracy to further build the results that they want? And if so, why would they want New York City to beat Nashville on Saturday? Bigger market. They want to try and bring them into the playoff picture or something like that.
But the point is that it's making you wonder about it.
Yeah, that we're asking the questions.
If you start to doubt the veracity of what you're seeing, where does it end?
Mm-hmm.
And when it's such an easy fix, it is such an easy fix. I swear, whatever money it takes, they've got it.
Yeah, and surely Don Garber and whoever else in the league have ambitions to take MLS as high as we can possibly go among all the other professional soccer leagues. And we will never do that with this lack of technology.
And lack of capable refereeing.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is just the technology. The refs just make poor calls week in, week out. We see it over and over again. I'm willing to accept some level of that. It happens in every sport, but it seems just relentless, and it's making the difference in games. We should have had another win under our belt Saturday. We should have won that game. And if they had called the game correctly, we would have won, damn it. Anyway.
That's right.
Let's talk about some good stuff, guys. With every goal that Nashville scores this season, we're naming off one of our favorite things. We've got 4 more goals to celebrate this week. So that's 4 favorite things. We've been going in order, just around and around. It's actually my turn next, so I guess I'm going to get 2 this time around. So I'll start with my first one. There is something that's really important and dear to me. It really was significant in my formative years as a child growing up. And it's a piece of pop culture that probably isn't as accepted these days as it was 30, 40 years ago, or even when it first came out in the early 1900s. A lot of people would call it problematic. Some might want to cancel it or even say that it's outdated or misunderstood. But to me, I think that this is by far the greatest collection of cartoon characters that ever existed. I'm, of course, talking about the Looney Tunes, guys. Looney Tunes cartoons. They were so amazing. And, of course, leading them all was Bugs Bunny, the greatest asshole in pop culture history. Is Bugs Bunny, hands down. He created the mold for all assholes after him, and did it in such a charming way, an entertaining way. And of course, then I really loved Daffy Duck growing up as well. I thought he was hilarious. Elmer Fudd, Porky Pig, all of them. I mean, it was Yosemite Sam and Sylvester and Tweety and the Roadrunner, of course, and Wile E. Coyote. All of those cartoons. Every Saturday morning with my bowl of cereal, I sat down for an hour or two of sheer entertainment with Looney Tunes. They included some caricatures and slapstick violence and cultural stereotypes that don't align with today's norms of inclusivity and sensitivity. But damn it, if they weren't entertaining and fun, and I know that that's probably something that people would want to give me grief for supporting or whatever, but I think people just need to lighten up and just accept that these are jokes. They're making fun of themselves more than anything else. Totally dismissing them rather than accepting them for what they were in the moment. The subversive wit that they brought, and they really helped me, and I think a lot of people, to be a more thoughtful and creative person as a result, because it wasn't just take my wife, please type of jokes. I mean, they were really interesting, and they're packed with references that really were pretty sophisticated for a kid. Opera and classical music and film noir and politics and celebrity culture from the early and mid 20th century. So I love them to death. I'll watch them till I die. I think that Looney Tunes are terrific. They will never be canceled in my world. That's one of my favorite things.
Hey, man. I always based my ideal personality on Bugs Bunny in that, like, I didn't care if I was the smartest guy in the room. I wanted to be the craftiest.
Yeah.
I always wanted to know that I could get out of a trap if I needed to.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I learned from Bugs Bunny.
Well, like I said, Bugs Bunny's greatest asshole. He would call himself a stinker. He was just I'm a stinker, aren't I? He's being an asshole, but such a charming asshole.
Speaking of stinkers, I modeled my entire personality on Pepe Le Pew. So.
There you go.
That's problematic.
So it's not just me and it's not just you guys. There's a whole host of folks that throughout our American culture that have been profoundly influenced by Looney Tunes. For instance, Steven Spielberg has called Looney Tunes one of the most important influences on his storytelling and comic timing. I mean, it doesn't get any better than maybe the greatest film director of all time. Matt Groening of The Simpsons has said that Looney Tunes was a massive influence on his love of animation and absurd humor. Mel Brooks, the king of the satire, he said that Looney Tunes, especially Bugs Bunny, was a formative part of his comedic voice. Seth MacFarlane, who created The Family Guy, has directly credited Looney Tunes as an inspiration for his animation career. Quentin Tarantino has once described his characters as cartoonish but grounded and cited Looney Tunes as an early storytelling influence. And Conan O'Brien has said that Looney Tunes, especially Bugs Bunny, once again shaped his comedic sensibility from a young age. And none other than Dave Chappelle has said that his stand-up whole persona and style, more than Richard Pryor or Eddie Murphy or any other stand-up comedian before him, Bugs Bunny was his biggest influence on his stand-up, which is...
I can actually see it now that you say that.
It's high praise.
I love it.
And then, of course, even like the creators of South Park, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, they've acknowledged that Looney Tunes were a key influence in crafting a show that mixes social commentary with slapstick and absurdity. So it goes on, guys. Pop culture would not be what it is today without Looney Tunes. So that's my first favorite thing. Evan, let's go around to you now. It is your turn. What's one of your favorite things? This would be in honor of Hani Mukhtar's goal from the Columbus game.
Okay. All right. Well, I love it. I love Looney Tunes. My favorite thing, guys, are you guys ready to rock?
Always.
Always.
You know the phrase, more than the sum of its parts? Well, guys, one of my favorite things are rock supergroups.
Oh.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about. In the 60s, we had Blind Faith with Steve Winwood and Eric Clapton. In the 70s, we had CSN and Sometimes Why, that's Crosby, Stills, Nash, and sometimes Neil Young, who made some of the most incredible music of all time. We also had Derek and the Dominoes, that's Dwayne Allman, and again, Eric Clapton, Mr. Supergroup. In the 80s, we had Asia, which combined members of Yes, King Crimson, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and the Buggles. But on the other side of the spectrum, we had the Highwaymen with Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, and Chris Christopherson. And then, boy, guys, now we're really cooking. In the 90s, we've got Temple of the Dog featuring members of Soundgarden and Pearl Jam, as well as Mad Season. Do you remember that supergroup with Alice in Chains' Lane Staley and Pearl Jam's Mike McCready? Guys, it didn't end in the 90s. Maybe you think it did, but it didn't. In the 2000s, we had Audio Slave with Chris Cornell, and who was essentially fronting Rage Against the Machine. And then we had Chickenfoot. You guys ever heard of Chickenfoot? Sammy Hagar with my favorite guitar player of all time, Joe Satriani, and then just throw in a Red Hot Chili Peppers, the drummer, Chad Smith, just throw him in there in the mix. A lot of people, this is a debate that rages on, and a lot of people think that Foo Fighters are probably the greatest supergroup of all time. As you know, they rose from the ashes of Nirvana, but I'm here to tell you that my favorite my all-time favorite rock and roll supergroup is the Traveling Wilburys. Never have a bunch of super famous millionaire rock stars seem to be having such a good time. Formed by ex-Beatle George Harrison and Electric Light Orchestra mastermind Jeff Lynne, probably the most underrated person in rock and roll history. They call in Bob Dylan, Tom Petty, and Roy Orbison somehow to record an album, 1988's Traveling Wilburys Volume 1. It was brilliant and it was fun. Do you guys remember when life was fun?
Oh, vaguely.
Anyway, Traveling Wilburys Volume 1 won the Grammy for Best Rock Performance, and then a second album followed it in 1990 titled Traveling Wilburys Volume 3. Funnily enough, that one was released after Roy Orbison's death. Keep them guessing. Yep. The whole thing was so short-lived that they never even played live. But the songs that they left behind are brilliant and timeless. Guys, End of the Line, Last Night, Margarita, Heading for the Light, and Rattled. But you know what's coming next. The best of all, one of the greatest tracks ever recorded, Handle with Care.
Yes.
Can you hear this song in your head right now? The older I get, the more this song resonates with. Frankly, the more it means to me, because it's a song of hope for even the most weary life traveler. You know, it sounds like the culmination of these guys' experiences with the music industry and life on the road, but it's written so universally that I think anyone who listens to it can find something to relate to, something to grab hold on, and maybe something to hope for. I absolutely love it. So there it is. My favorite thing, rock and roll super groups.
Man, that's awesome.
Bravo. I wholeheartedly agree. And I'm so glad that you mentioned the Traveling Wilburys as your number one choice. That was mine as well.
Yeah, me too.
And I was very worried that you had missed them. And when you were listing them off, I was like, you forgot one. So I'm glad you We had the good fortune of going to see Electric Light Orchestra several months ago when they came to town. And even though he's in his 70s, Jeff Lynne's still fantastic to this day. I mean, certainly one of the best songwriters, great performer, but guys, one of the best producers that has ever been in rock. I mean, he's produced. If you actually looked at the list of the stuff that he's produced, you would just be knocked out by all of the famous albums that he's worked on. So you're right.
It's absurd.
He probably is one of the most, if not the most underrated person in the history of rock. Great choice, Evan.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
All right, John. Favorite thing time. What's yours?
Libraries, gentlemen. Libraries. I love libraries. Wow. I cannot get enough of libraries. I love going to them. I love the vibe. I think kids hate them now. And there's something wrong with y'all kids. I know none of them are listening to this podcast. No kids are listening to this podcast. But libraries, you can't learn enough in libraries. And I'm here to tell you, I know a bunch of kids just graduated from high school and they're going to college next year. Kids or parents of kids, please, God, go to your college libraries. If you're thinking about spending 2 or 3 hours on your phone each day, and I know the phones, these are miracle machines from God. They have everything ever on them. I swear, if you contribute half of the time that you would look at your phones to just picking up random books in a library and reading them, you will be better off for it. I loved going to my college library. The first college that I went to was a school called Transylvania University in Lexington, Kentucky, and they called it Transy. I loved Transylvania University. I loved their library. I pretty much sat in there and read every book in that library in the 2 years that I was there. I did that instead of going to class, which probably wasn't the smartest move, but I read a lot, and I'm well read because of it today. I read in particular a book called The Devil on the Cross by a Kenyan author named Ngugi wa Thiong'o, and it became the basis of my entire political and social philosophy that I've had for the last 30 years.
Wow. I
wanted to mention it because Ngugi unfortunately passed away this week at the age of 87. But yeah, just pick up any book that looks halfway interesting, read it. And beyond college libraries, love your local library. There's always magic happening at the local library. In addition to books, there's classes. My wife takes a sewing class. Just there's cool stuff happening at your library. I swear there is. And your life will be so enriched. And I wanted to give a special shout out to something that's happened that to a creature that lives in my local library. I don't want to say exactly which library because just on the off chance this story gets out. So there's a chameleon named Larry that has lived at my local library for the last few years, and he's kind of become a celebrity in town. There's actually like Larry t-shirts and stuff, and Larry lives in like a glass case. Well, I happen to know someone that knows some of the librarians, and they have had to change out chameleons. Because unfortunately, a few months back, they started noticing that Larry was getting depressed. And if you're wondering, how does a chameleon show that it's depressed? The answer is I don't exactly know, but they did, and so they took Larry to the vet, and it turned out that they were right. Larry was depressed. Larry is in need of a female companion.
Yeah. I get it.
And can't we all relate to Larry?
Been there.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So Larry, I hope you're out there, and I hope someone is loving you. Because I heard this story and I felt so deeply for Larry, and I was like, I got to share Larry the chameleon. That's one of my favorite things in life, and I hope that he's getting better out there. But see, this kind of stuff doesn't happen if you don't go to your library, and that's right. That's the end of my thesis. Go to your library. Magic happens there all the time.
Support your local library.
Do you think you could get a message to Larry? I will wingman Larry. Okay,
yes,
tell Larry I will wingman for you, bro.
Yeah, I don't even know where the chameleon bars might be, or maybe they got apps.
I was going to say, is there a chameleon dating app? Okay, well, let's move on. I've got one more favorite thing. Again, we've got so many Sam Surridge goals, so we've got to celebrate. So my last favorite thing, there are 2 television shows that have occurred in my lifetime that I think are the greatest television shows of all time. I'm going to save one for later on this season because I'm hoping that we will score another goal at some point, and I'll use it later on. But one of them I'm going to talk about tonight. It's an incredible show. And it's an incredible commentary on America and American cities and American inner cities in particular, and all that's broken. And it was made 25 years ago, and things have only gotten worse since then. But it's a really raw show. It's hard to watch if you're not in the mood for it. But once you get into it, it is just layers and layers and layers of fantastic writing and acting. And I'm talking about The Wire.
Oh, yeah.
Have you guys watched The Wire, either one of you? No?
Not enough.
No, I need to.
You're missing out. Now, this is not a show that's like, oh, that was fun. It's not a fun watch. No. There are hilarious parts, and it is entertaining, but it is so insightful, and it's heartbreaking. It's all of the above. The other show that's one of my favorites, it's also captures all these different emotions. But with The Wire, you're digging into the inner city of Baltimore, and you're dealing with the drug dealers and the cops and the traffickers and the lowlifes and the politicians and the school teachers, and every aspect of the city infrastructure is examined. And in fact, it has 5 seasons, and each season focuses on a different pillar of the community and shows you how it got broken, why it continues to be broken, and why nobody can fix it. So the first season starts with the police force and the drug dealers. The second season focuses on the port and basically blue collar workers. And then the third season is focusing on politics and the politicians running the city. The fourth season focuses on the schools, and it is the most heartbreaking season in television history. And then the fifth season focuses on the media, particularly the dying newspapers. So it's a fantastic show. It was created by 2 guys. One was a writer for the Baltimore Sun, and the other guy was actually a detective on the Baltimore police force. And they connected back in the 80s as they were both investigating different drug traffickers from different angles. You know, one was doing it from the journalist standpoint, the other was as a cop, and they crossed paths. And then as they got into wanting to create, they created a couple of different documentaries. And then they ended up creating this series. It is incredible. And I just want to read off a few of the quotes from this show. And they may not have all of their impact without the context of having watched it, but I think you still get the gist of it. Number one, you come at the king, you best not miss. It was a timeless quote from Omar, who was like a vigilante. He was basically a Robin Hood who robbed drug dealers and gave to the poor in his community. Second quote, a man must have a code. That's said by one of the detectives on the police force. And he was saying it to that same vigilante that I was talking about, Omar. The game is the game. Basically what they're saying is like life isn't changing for anyone. You play by the rules or you're going to get left behind. You rather live in shit than let the world see you work a shovel. A brutal indictment of pride. The thing about the old days, the old days, basically saying they've passed by. They're not here anymore and you better live in the now. A lie ain't a side of the story. It's just a lie. I think that one's a great and also timely. It ain't about right. It's about what you can prove. That's what one of the detectives says at one point. The bigger the lie, the more they believe is another quote. I mean, there's just so much, so many great nuggets in this. And then finally, if you with us, you with us, which means we got your back, but there's no way out for you either. So it's so profound. And again, so heartbreaking and really just gives such a great insight, realistic insight to the turmoil in our cities. And anybody who's interested in that kind of thing, I encourage you to watch it. It's one of the 2 greatest television shows of all time. You guys need to get it on your list. I'm just saying.
Definitely. Definitely.
All right, we got to move on. This one's going long, guys. All right, let's move on. It's time for Nashville Hot Chicken Takes.
My hot chicken take is that these owners got skills to shake, entertain the crowd and get on the field. 'Cause why the fuck not?
And John, we're going to start with you. What's your hot take tonight?
Hot chicken take. And I hate to say it, but if we had at least league level goalkeeping, we're at least second in the East right now.
Yes.
Joe, it's not going well. It's not going well with Joe Willis right now. Obviously, the second goal, the game time goal against New York was really bad. Like he should have come out and just taken out anybody in his path. I know Jack Mayer was in the way. As a goalkeeper, you can't worry necessarily about even injuring your own players. You're the only one that can use your hands. You got to come out, rushing out, throw elbows if you got to, push everybody out of the way and get the ball. And he didn't do that. And he's still okay. He did make a good one-on-one save against Ariel Martinez in the first half. And I think he's been okay at the one-on-ones, like when the other team breaks through and he's just kind of having to make a reaction off the line. He's still doing that okay. But I've noticed that all these teams are taking long shots against us. And I have to believe they've seen that his reaction time is not as good. I think there's the first goal against Columbus. It was a long shot from outside the box. And he'll be the first one to tell you he's got to parry that ball out of bounds for a corner kick because he had enough time to react, to get across to it and push it away instead of pushing it right back in the path of the onrushing attack. So it's just a reaction time. And I don't know, Schwacke didn't thrill me either in the cup games. Schwacke is good with his feet, but I didn't see him commanding his area. He didn't face a lot of shots, so I don't know about that. But we've got to find a solution at goalkeeping if we're really going to stick in the top 4 in the East. I'm really looking forward to watching, actually, weirdly enough, the Dominican Republic in the Gold Cup. Our Xavier Valdez might be playing for them. He's been called up to the team. And I was looking at the roster. And Valdez is 21, and the other keeper on the Dominican team is 42. So I don't know which one they're going to go with for the Gold Cup. I hope they go with Valdez just because I want to see the guy. He started a few games for Huntsville, but I haven't got to see those. I'm basically desperate at this point to see what we've got because right now it's not good enough to get where we really want to be.
I knew that this was going to be your hot take, and I'm so glad that you mentioned it because we've got a serious goalkeeping problem. And to be perfectly honest, guys, while I think this team is great, we're really great offensively. I think we could definitely make some noise in the playoffs. I think ultimately, at some point, this is going to bite us. Just looking back, you guys want to take a guess at how many games have we played in the league so far this year? Do you know off the top of your
head? 17. About halfway, are we?
Yeah.
17, yeah.
Yeah, this is the halfway point. You know how many clean sheets we have?
Not many.
2?
There's been 4.
Okay. That's still not great.
No. The game against DC United a few weeks ago was a 0-0 draw.
Where they weren't trying to score.
Right. And then there was in March, we beat Montreal 3-0.
Yeah.
And then the first two games of the season were the 0-0 draw with New England. Well, and no, we only lost to New York to Red Bulls. But then the third game of the season, we beat Portland 2-0.
Oh, yeah.
So other than that, every other game, 10 games, we've allowed at least one or more goals. We basically have to score at least two in order to have a chance to win. And as you've seen in the past couple of games, we've needed, well, actually, out of the last 4 games that we've played against MLS teams, so Orlando being one of them, it was an open cup game, but we had to have 3 goals to win that game. And then, of course, against Columbus and New York City, we tied with 2 goals. So we're needing 2 to 3 goals each game just to win. And while we have a terrific offense, that's a recipe for disaster down the road, especially when we go against tougher competition. So we've got a real goalkeeping problem. I love Joe. I love what he's done for us over the years, but you can definitely see a slowing down of the reaction time. There have been a couple of goals in the last couple of weeks where he's just kind of stood there frozen. That's a bad sign. No reaction at all, really. I just feel like we've got a problem here. And like you said, John, I'm not sure that our backups provide any solution. So I'm worried about this one. Evan, what's your hot take?
Okay. Yeah. Well, my hot take, boys, is way on the other side here. Guys,
Good.
Please.
all the way to the other side. Sam Surridge is going to win the Golden Boot this season.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Bravo.
Oh, man. He is playing with confidence now. He is finally gelling with Hani in terms of not only the way they play together, but just the way they interact with each other, function, lead. And he's getting incredible service from not only Hani, but other guys like Moyle, Nahar. I mean, with so many contributors behind him and him playing with confidence, guys, you just write it down. Sam Surridge, Super Sam, is going to win the Golden Boot.
Super,
I love it.
Super Sam, Super
Yeah.
Sam, Super
Sam.
Sam Surridge.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about him because his finishing has taken on another level this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we finally figured out what he's best at, which we should have figured out 2 years ago. I think we assumed him being this big 6'3" dude who had played in the English Championship that he was going to be like an aerial target. That's not really his game. He's a finisher with his feet. And like we are finally playing, so we are trying to, whatever we can, to get the ball to his feet in the box. And we see tremendous things happening because of it. He could have had a hat trick. He had that one that he beat 2 or 3 guys on and hit the post. And that was sweet.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the footwork, man. Now that we're Backhill FC, well, we've got like 3 or 4 assists off backhills now.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Because obviously they're looking to get the ball to his feet whenever they can. And that is really the key to unlocking the best of him.
And we finally see that chemistry between him and Hani, too.
Yeah.
We were struggling, I think, to see that for about a year or so, but that has really come and fit into place now. And kudos to Coach Callahan on unlocking this because it's been tremendous. Super Sam's been on a real tear. You guys haven't mentioned him yet tonight, so I just want to throw a special shout out. I don't know if it's a hot take. I don't know if it's oh, hell yeah, what it is, but I just want to say Matthew Corcoran was phenomenal in that game Saturday. He's 19 years old. He's a U.S. Youth International. That kid was tremendous. And man,
he was great against Columbus.
Yeah, I hope he keeps developing and developing for us. I mean, there's a bright future ahead for that kid. So that's exciting. Kind of piggybacking on the conversation we were having last week about all the great youth that we have. He's been tremendous and he really showed up on Saturday.
He's a bit special.
Yeah. He set up both of those goals that we scored.
Yeah, that first one, I know I've been bragging on it. I turned to you when the ball came to him and he made that little half turn. I said, goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
God,
yeah.
It sure was. And it was 50 yards away. I could just see it happening. I was right in the line of the vision. That kid has amazing vision.
Yeah, the pass he played forward on the second goal,
Yeah.
that is special talent. That is vision. That's like Marco Echeverri level vision right there.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I don't know what category that fits in or whatever. I just wanted to make sure that we mentioned him because he's deserving of it.
Yes.
I'm glad you did.
Yes.
All right, guys, let's move on. Let's do the weekend preview. The boys in goal get a week off. Don't you think they deserve it after playing 9 games this month? Can't you give them a break? What are you, some kind of sadist? After the extended rest, Nashville will head to the Windy City to face Chicago FC on June 14th. Chicago's in 11th place in the East with a record of 6 wins, 5 losses, and 4 draws, and a goal differential of 0. When the two teams previously clashed in Geodis Park back in April 26th, it resulted in one of the most resounding wins in Nashville's history. Sam Surridge scored 4 goals, Hani Mukhtar scored a brace, and the team soared to a 7-2 victory. Let's hope that they can repeat that performance on the road. All right, guys, obviously we've got the next week off, and Electric Gold's going to be taking a week off too. But when we come back in 2 weeks, we'll be watching the team take on Chicago. And for that, I'd like to know what's going to happen. I need you guys to break out your crystal balls, y'all. Okay, Evan, tell us what's going to happen. Oh, before you do that, we must make sure that we share with everybody. There was one figure in all of Nashville sports media who correctly called what was going to happen in the month of May for Nashville SC. Let's take a quick listen.
Yeah, my Nashville Hot Chicken take is that we are God's team. And also, because of that, we're not going to lose a single match in the merry month of May.
How about that, boys? Evan,
Yes!
You nailed it. You predicted it. No losses in May, and the team performed. I mean, you saw it.
Did it.
You had the vision. Your crystal ball was dead on. Way to go, man.
It was shiny.
Way to go.
Oh, thank you, boys.
There's no one else in Nashville soccer media who nailed it like that. So you want the real truth, what's going to happen? You listen to Electric Gold.
That's right. That's right. We are dishing it out, baby.
So let's see if you can keep it going. What do you see in your crystal ball tonight?
Okay. Well, let's see. Let me wipe these smudges off of it. Let me polish it up real good. All right. I'm gazing deeply into it and seeing a 4-2 victory on the road against the Chicago Fire with another brace from Super
Wow.
Sam,
Just keep
and
coming.
one apiece from Eddie Taxeth and our hero who is back, Walker Zimmerman.
Wonderful.
He'll be out. Sorry.
Oh.
Take that back. Forget I even said it.
Oh, well.
Let's make that. Who will be here, John? Who will be here? Let's give that to Jack Mayer. Let's give it to Jack.
All right,
yeah.
Jack will be here.
Yeah.
He'll get it.
All right.
Yeah, Walker recently got called up to the U.S. men's national team, so he's going to be doing international
Okay.
duty. That's right.
Okay.
All right, fair enough.
All right.
John, what do you see in your crystal ball?
It's a few weeks away, so it's kind of smudgy out there, but I do see 4-1 NSC.
Ooh.
Yeah, it is gonna be a funky lineup. I will predict that because not only Zimmerman, Nahar, Yazbek, Corcoran, Schaffelberg, yeah, they'll all be out of that game. So it's gonna be some funkiness, but it's Chicago Fire, man. We just beat them 7-2. Although I will say, ever since we killed them, they've actually been okay ever since.
Right.
And they will be looking for revenge, but I don't see it. I see Hani Mukhtar and Sam Surridge just eat the shit out of these guys the way they always do. So, yeah, everybody should go up to Soldier Field and watch us win easily.
I love it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Take my word for it.
Either way, there's going to be 4 goals for Nashville in that game.
Yeah, that's a must. Yeah.
Sounds great, guys. Well, that's something to look forward to. But in the meantime, we are going to take a much needed break, as so are the boys in gold. So thank you all for listening. But it's going to be 2 weeks until the next episode. In the meantime, you can still reach out and talk to us. You can still communicate with us. John, how can they do that?
We are Electric Gold NSC on Instagram, on Facebook, and on X, formerly Twitter. Drop us a line. Sure, we'll try to round up a new mailbag since we got 2 weeks to do an episode. So yeah, any hot takes you got, just bring the spice, baby.
Yeah.
Any hell yes, hell no's, whatever you got, we'll read it and we'll respond to it. And I just can't thank you enough. Once again, anybody that's listening, come up to us. Don't buy us a beer. We'll buy you a beer. and believe me, we know beer.
Yeah.
We have proven that conclusively. So we'll buy you a good one.
We know beer way better than we know soccer.
That's the truth.
All right. Well, thank you, John. Thank you, Evan. And thank you, everyone, for listening. We really appreciate it. It's been another fun episode, but we got to wrap this up. So in the meantime, keep on cheering on the boys in gold. Keep on supporting the team. Make sure you're getting out to the games. Make sure you're tuning in to watch them on television. And most importantly, keep on saying it. Come on, you boys in gold.
Come on, you boys in gold.
Come on, you boys in gold.
Under cities, neon lights, talking dreams on Friday nights. Electric vibes and stories told. Come on, you boys in gold. Waves of laughter in the air, podcast pals without a care, sharing glorious thoughts out loud. Come on, you boys in gold. Waves of laughter in the air, podcast pals without a care, sharing glorious thoughts out loud. Come on, you boys in gold. Electric gold, love so bold, every tale like treasure gold, voices echo through the night. Come on, you boys in gold. From the highs and through the lows, shining bright where passion grows, and their words were never old. Come on, you boys in gold. Soundtrack to our endless dreams, flowing soft like gentle streams, and their stories warm and sold. Come on, you boys in gold. In each beat, in every word, inspiration's always heard, moments cherished, tales retold. Come on, you boys in gold.